What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're looking at some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. And don't forget you can follow us on podcast too now, so you can take us with you wherever you go, and you can join us either on Patreon or YouTube membership, up to you, no pressure to do so. And with that being said, let's get straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from APC Sois. I'm not sure if that name is right or how to pronounce it. Am I the arsehole for leaving during my wife's labour? My wife went into labour around 6 PM on Sunday. We were expecting twins. It quickly turned into a very painful process. She kept cutting off the blood pressure to my hand when she squeezed and nearly sprayed my shirt with vomit. Around 3 AM my dad calls. I work for my dad's company and we had a presentation for clients Monday morning that I had to get ready for. My dad heard my wife was in labour but told me he needed me on this presentation. He said there was nothing I could do to help my wife and delivery, and seeing the baby come out was overrated and people don't prepare you for the gore. He said he needed me to rest up and make myself presentable for the presentation. My wife's labour was progressing very slowly and we were all certain she would need forceps or other assistance to deliver the babies. I realised that I couldn't help her here and my dad was counting on me, so I told her I needed to leave. She started screaming at me so loudly that a few nurses rushed over to our room. I ended up doing the presentation with the clients and things went well. I leave the office and see a text on my phone that said my wife delivered an hour ago at around 10:30 AM and they had to use forceps. I would have missed the meeting had I stayed, and my dad has given me everything he could possibly give me in life, so I didn't want to let him down. Am I the arsehole? I had responsibilities I had to take care of, while my wife is still screaming at me saying that she was alone when they destroyed her body. I'm the only one who works, and her mum herself said that she was emotional and overreacting. My wife even went as far as to say that her family would disown her if she was the first of them to divorce, but that she doesn't consider me her husband right now. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a reading today simply because it's too hot and I'm sweating here doing it, and I was like, I just can't be bothered to read. Then I saw this post and I thought, oh my god, you guys got to see this. I'm going to go straight to the comments below because I've got no words from this guy. Oh my word. Opega says, you're the arsehole, and quotes, I realised that I couldn't help her here. Yeah, you could. You could provide a comforting, supportive presence while she's extremely scared and in pain. Instead, you abandoned her, which made everything even more stressful. And quotes again, and seeing the baby come out was overrated. It's not. There's a reason why people usually list the birth of their children as the most memorable moments in their lives, and you missed it. Dr. Mama Bear replies to this saying, you're the arsehole. Are you freaking kidding me? It was a painful experience and she squeezed your hand too hard. Wow, almost like you experienced labour yourself. /sarcasm. Just Hours of 34 replies to this, he truly experienced trauma to his body. How will he recover? You're the arsehole. You left your wife scared and alone. Would you want her to leave you alone when you were going in for surgery? You started your children's lives by putting them on the back burner. Moonlit Kitten 96 says, you're the arsehole. God, you may be the biggest arsehole of the week. Your wife, the woman you vowed to stand by for the rest of your life, was having what could likely be the most traumatic experience of her life, and instead of supporting her, you left her because you figured helping your dad was more important. The second you get married, your nuclear family becomes the wife and children you have. They should become your first priority, and you managed to abandon them, all at a time when your wife needed you, and missed the birth of your children. You'd be lucky if you ever get to see those kids. You need a reality check. It's unfortunate your wife doesn't want to divorce you. Hopefully she changes her mind. Amethyst Fire says, no kidding, if it were me, I'd be filing out divorce papers while still in the hospital. I'd also make sure everyone knew he was not allowed anywhere near my room or the babies. Regular Tell 108 says, you're the arsehole. There are no clients anywhere that would expect you to be at a presentation on the day your wife was giving birth. What the fuck? Nova Nug says, you're the arsehole, but your dad is the supreme arsehole overlord. She should be mad at him too. I don't blame your wife for hating you right now. What a painful experience to go through alone. You better do everything you can to make it up to her. Now I turn this story to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description. And our next story is from Professional Tax. Would I be the arsehole for not attending my best friend's gay wedding because of my inheritance? Long story, and I think I screwed myself here. My 29 male and best friend 28 male is getting married at the start of October at a smaller gathering at a family friend's banquet hall catered by his family. He's obviously gay. My mum is extremely homophobic and in poor health at 65. Diabetes, obesity, family history of heart conditions and smoking. I'd be very surprised if she made it to another election cycle. 4 years. She never liked my friend, but let it go once I became engaged to my current fiance, probably because she thought I might be gay. I told her I was going to not only be at the wedding, but the best man at the wedding, and she flipped out. My dad passed away about 5 years ago and provided very well for us. Annuity, stocks and 2 property houses rented out, and my mum knew the power that has. Even split with 2 other brothers, I'll inherit well over 5 million. Her words were, "If you go to that gay slur's wedding, we'll see how much you get." Unfortunately, I told her the date before this point and she didn't know where to expect me on that day. I tried to get her to be reasonable, but she isn't budging. She's been a bitter, hateful woman for 60 plus years, and she's going out a bitter, hateful woman. I told my best friend and he is furious with me, as is my fiance. We are very well off. I'm a pharmacist who hasn't felt the effects of COVID at all, to be honest, and she's a human resources associate. We are extremely comfortable and we've never stressed over money, but not millionaires, which we could be. I asked my best friend if he would consider a long engagement. Him and his fiancée proposed and planned the wedding inside a year. My mum is not going to last much longer, but he isn't concerned beyond, "You're choosing your homophobic mum over me." That line hurt me, and I'm just choosing her money right now, but even that doesn't seem like it's worth it. My fiancée has said she knows it's a lot of money, but she says we have 6 figures in the bank already, and my job has no threat of downsizing or phasing out. Still, I would be set for life and take a 10+ start on my retirement, and he's not willing to find a compromise at all, not that he should have to at the end of the day. Would I be the arsehole if I don't attend my best friend's gay wedding? Now this is going to be a tough one because, you know, if you don't go to the wedding, take $5 million, you're instantly going to be declared by an arsehole by Reddit. There's no doubt about that. But imagine being put in that shoes. Imagine if you was the gay couple getting married and your friend come up to you and told you that I could get $5 million. They're not saying I don't want to go to your wedding because you're gay or anything. They're saying I want $5 million. And the only way I'm going to get it is if I keep my mum sweet. You know, $5 million is, well, it's a significant amount of money, isn't it? Set you up pretty well for life. And if I put myself in that person's shoes who's getting married and someone come up to me and said that, I think I would understand too. I'd say, yeah, maybe, give me a little 100k maybe. So I'm probably going to go against the grain here and say not the arsehole, but the mum is obviously the massive, huge arsehole in this story. Let's go to the comments below to see what we can find. Miley30 says, "Forget about the wedding for a minute. Your mum has just declared the terms of play until she dies. The game will be that she controls your every move. You comply and do not object. In exchange, you might be wealthy at some undetermined future time. She could die tomorrow, or she could live another 25 years. The really nasty ones seem to hang on much longer than seems reasonable. And she might, or might not, depending on her whim, bequeath you 5 million. That is, if she hasn't spent it, lost it in a scam, updated her will improperly, or dozens of other reasons beyond your control that the money may or may not even be there. Are you willing to accept the terms of the game for an opportunity to inherit? Sounds like an unappealing way to live for years to me, but we all have to make our own choices. Everyone sucks here. Your mum for proposing the game, and you for playing it." You know, that's some really good points there. You don't know about if the money's even there. You can't see into her bank account. She might be just playing you because she's being a nasty biatch. Seriously, a person says, there's a lot of people that are going to pretend they have the moral fortitude to turn down $5 million and call you an arsehole. They're being dishonest. You're just going to do whatever feels right for yourself here. There is no right answer. Your mum is the arsehole. Edit, I just want to say not the arsehole. I also want to add that your gay friend is an arsehole too. My friends would tell me to take the money. We did a poll in our group message. 7 of 7 people expect 7 of 7 people to take the money every time. IR Nobody says, "You're the arsehole without a doubt, but this," and quotes, "I asked my best friend if he'd consider a long engagement. I can't believe you had the nerve to ask him to reschedule his wedding for you." Noz Darb says, and quotes, "Even split with 2 other brothers, I'll inherit well over 5 million. Not the arsehole. If I told my best friend, who is gay and was my best man, that I was missing his wedding because of a potential 5 million, he'd wish me luck and call me after the honeymoon. If you can somehow actually afford to pass on 5 million, then things change. But if your net worth is under 10 million, my back of the envelope math for never work again money, this seems totally understandable." Cobot Ace says, not the arsehole, I'd hate my friend forever if he chose my wedding over $5 million. If anything, when the dude gets the money, just send a couple of expensive gifts or something of that nature. NomD Pixel says, you're the arsehole, the rich arsehole, but still the arsehole. First of all, I cannot believe you would ask someone to postpone their wedding to appease a homophobe they aren't even related to. Secondly, your mum could live for another 30 years. Are you going to sell her control over your life for that long? Now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description. Our next story is from Joe is not a slut. Am I the arsehole for saying that I would report my colleague for foul language instead of helping her report another person for harassment? I, 23 female, have been transferred to a department since February with 12 men and only 2 women. Me and another senior lady, Kat. In this department, we're more like a big family than just colleagues, as we are essential workers. Make a guess, not telling. And it was everyone's company that kept us going through the busy nights, especially in times like this. I was the youngest and newest then, so the guys were very helpful and patient with me. One big guy, Tom, was very physically affectionate, and he loves to pat, hug, mock wrestle, squeeze cheeks, and lightly slap the younger staffs on the back, including me. I don't mind Tom treating me like the guys. In fact, I think he's just a sweet cuddly bear, and sometimes I squeeze him back too. I never felt uncomfortable among the guys, and I know they are all decent people. About a week ago, we had one additional staff, another lady, Amy, 21. As you may have guessed from the title now, Amy got mad when Tom attempted to hug her, and when Tom realised that, he quickly apologised and mentioned that he thought she wouldn't mind, because I didn't. Amy said something like this, just because dirty sluts love getting touched by guys, doesn't mean all women do. Obviously I took this as an insult. I haven't done anything to Amy, and she straight up said that in front of all the guys. I was tired and I didn't want to start a fight, so I pretended I didn't hear it, but Amy kept yelling at Tom as he apologised profusely, with a few other guys trying to calm her down. Later on, Amy approached me and told me that she needed my help to report Tom for harassment, and she got Kat backing her up. Still tired and in a bad mood, I replied sarcastically, yeah, I shall report too, you for your foul language, and the guys will back me up because they heard what you called me. Amy got really upset at me. She assumed that all women should stand up to the men, but she's got a nerve wanting my help reporting my friend after reporting me out of nowhere. Kat told us to sort it out before leaving because she feels that she is too busy for drama, and Amy got angrier because now she has nobody to back her up, and she blames it on me. Just to be clear, I'm not reporting anybody, too tired for that shit. Tom and Amy can sort it out between themselves, and I'm not going to bother with either of them. Go on. Info. After reading some comments, there are some common misconceptions that I would like to clarify. Number 1. No, Tom does not touch butts and breasts. If he does forget about Amy, don't you think I would have did something about it? Common sense, people. Tom is like a brother or uncle to us younger staffs. 2. We do work professionally, but because of our job requires us to work away from home, lots of communication and moving around, especially when we work overnights. It is common for us to talk casually and joke/mess around to some extent that we can stay alert. This us more than the common office-like environment, so despite being tiring, we have a good relationships with each other. 3. Kat is one of the seniors in the department, so naturally Tom does not mess with her, but she knows about Tom, and as I have no complaints, she doesn't care what he does. When Amy got offended, Kat is one of the first people to reach her side and told Tom off. I suppose Amy then convinced her to help report Tom for harassment, but since she changed her mind, Amy is alone now. 4. I don't mean to justify Tom's actions, he made a wrong assumption and that's on him. However, since Amy is nice to employ me for being a dirty slut, I see no reason in helping her. Had she also apologised to me, we could have worked it out with Tom in a civilised matter, without resorting to complaining to upper management, but now I don't want anything to do with a case between Amy and Tom. They are able adults and pretty sure they can work it out themselves. I'm sure glad I don't work in this place. I mean, everyone sounds pretty awful in this story. Let's take Tom first, shall we? He may be meaning well, might be a nice, huggable, friendly guy, but to a new person, you just do not go up and hug them. You don't hug new staff, you don't hug people you do not know. Give people their personal space, do not touch them if they don't want to be touched. Then you got Amy, who's just insulting people, calling people sluts. I mean, come on, man. That's not going to help the situation either. So that's another arsehole here. And then there's yourself, who just wants to stand back and doesn't want nothing to do with it. Because you're too tired, which again is a lame excuse to not get involved. I mean, come on now. I'm just going to read the most relevant comment on this one, which I think makes the most sense. Dashown Mum says, everyone sucks here with a close you're the arsehole. It's a global pandemic. No one should be touchy-feely, especially not with strangers. He touched a woman in a way that made her feel uncomfortable and obviously had no consent. It doesn't matter if he's your friend or not, he did it. You should back up her story if she reports it. She used a horror term at you and deserves what she gets for reporting wise. She deserves to be ashamed of her referring to someone that way in a work setting. You're just too tired is just blah, come on. She was touched in a way that she didn't consent to in the workplace. It's not appropriate just because you consent to it. Everyone go back to kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourselves, use nice words, tell teacher if something is invading your personal space, and wash your hands. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not allowing my daughter, 15 female, to buy my son, 13 male, a laptop with her money? Many months ago, I promised my son that I'm going to buy him a laptop because he wanted one really badly. However, after seeing his terrible school marks, I decided that a laptop would cause nothing but distraction, so I ended up not keeping my promise. My son was devastated obviously, but he moved on after some weeks. Everything was great until yesterday. My daughter decided to bring up the discussion about the laptop again. She told my son that she saved enough money for it and is planning to buy him one today. I was surprised that my daughter managed to save up this much, but also mad because I made it clear that he isn't allowed with a laptop. I told her she's not allowed to buy one, but then she told me that she's doing it with her money. Let me be clear, that money is in no way hers. The cash she has was given from me and my husband whenever she wanted to go out, and I guess she saved most of it, and money she got from her relatives during her birthday. Things escalated quickly, and I ended up having to make my daughter give me back the money I and her dad gave her. She could keep the other part. My husband is upset and doesn't agree with that, and doesn't agree with what I did, and I'll admit I overreacted by asking her to give me my money back. I'll consider giving it back to her in a few days, but I still made it clear that my son isn't allowed to have a laptop yet. Am I the arsehole here? I'm going to start off personally by saying I think OP is definitely the arsehole in this story, simply because they gave her this money. When you give someone, the word give, when you give them the money, it becomes theirs. And I'd be proud of her for saving up that amount of money and thinking of her brother so much that she went and done that. It's such a sweet thing to do. In a world that's full of hate and greed right now, you've got this young 15-year-old girl who's taken time to save up this money thinking of her brother, her little brother. That's just absolutely amazing. Now we're going to go to the comments below to see what we can find. Cypher Max says, you're the arsehole, that was her money, keyword being gave. You gave it to her, it's hers. She wanted to do something nice for her brother and in return you took her money. You're the arsehole so incredibly much. If I were her, I'd hide anything I'd valued because you just proved that anything she thinks she owns can be taken away at your whim. I wish I had a sibling that would ever be willing to buy me a laptop with their savings. I guarantee this kid will never view you the same way again. Lynn23 says, you're the arsehole for taking your daughter's money. A better solution would have been to say, well, it's your money, so you can buy a laptop and you're a very sweet girl for wanting to help your brother. But if you do, as his parents, we will have to say that he still won't be allowed to use it until he can show us he is responsible and works hard to bring up his grades. Alan WH says, you're the arsehole, you broke a promise to one child, now you've stolen money from the other. Jesus, you're a terrible parent. And pretty much all the arsehole verdicts are pretty much the same. They say the same thing. You stole from your daughter. Absolutely disgusting. But what do you guys have a different opinion on this matter? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description. Once again guys, thank you for being here today. The time out of your day is always truly appreciated. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys. Much love.